I don't know if you guys watched the stream out of there, but I thought we could have scored 4 or 5 goals against DC. I think Oba's effort where their goalkeeper makes a good save. Kenny Cooper has a pretty clean look at it. Nagel's header at the back post. So there were some good chances, and I was happy with the way we moved the ball. We're still getting to know each other, still getting to know what the tendencies are of each player, but I like the spirit of the team. I like their attitude.
You see 10 moves in an offseason, and some people on the outside are going to say it's a rebuilding year, but would you say couldn't be? I don't know, how would you relate what your expectations are to that?
We're Seattle. We're unconventional. I don't think we're conventional. We weren't a conventional expansion team. People say expansion teams, okay, get used to it, and hopefully in 2, 3, or 4 years you'll make the playoffs. We were unconventional there, and it's the same thing. We're not a team that's going to rebuild. We felt we needed to make some moves and some changes and change some things as we approach the game. But from a standpoint of are our expectations any less? No, our expectations aren't less. I know that puts a lot of pressure on the players, puts a lot of pressure on myself and the rest of the staff, but that's the way we like it, and we're always going to try and achieve the best.
You mentioned Oba's preseason. How much more can he do this year, getting the full preseason, being healthy? He kind of never seemed to get Oba, just with where he was last year to now.
I think it was good for Oba just to get a break, because it was a while for him to have a break, and so getting that break, getting that off season in allowed him to clear a lot of things, to rest his body, which he hadn't really done in a long time. And I think Dave Tenney's done a good job with him in preseason. I think Oba's done a good job working hard and getting fit, and you can see the enjoyment when he's around the guys. It's he's enjoying himself, he's having a good time, he's getting goal dangerous, which is what he needs to be.
Just a follow up on that other question. When you look at this team and when you see them playing together, does it feel like a team that's just been put together, or does it feel like it's a little more cohesive than you might have otherwise expected?
It's a team that's still getting to know each other, understand each other. Papa trying to learn, okay, where do I go when DeAndre wants to use that space on the right, and that was something that we worked on an awful lot, in terms of worked on a lot. We talked about it a lot and worked on it a little bit of practice, and I thought there were some good sequences for both the left and the right where Papa came inside looking for the ball, opened up space for Remick, opened up space for DeAndre. So, trying to understand that. When do I come in? When do I need to stay wide? Cooper did a better job, I thought, of playing in the hole behind Oba in the game against DC. And that's something that's coming along and getting better each game as well. Lamar Nagel and Papa switching sides, and they're free to do that, but recognizing, hey, this is a good time for me to go here. That was something all that stuff keeps improving, and as that keeps improving, then the final passes, the cohesion, Evans, we've played him at different places. His understanding with Ozzie, I thought, was a little bit better again the last game. The understanding in the middle of the back, also, is continuing to grow and develop.
Is that roster still in flux here with the week before the first kick?
Well, there's still some changes, I think, to come, or announcements to come. So we're working on finalizing a few things. But right as of today, we don't have anything to announce or anything to say. But in the next couple of days, there'll be some announcements, I'm sure.
How's DeAndre?
DeAndre is good. His ankle, again, it was just a slight turn. So we just want to be careful with it today. But we expect him to be fully able to play on the weekend.
Looks like he was kind of maybe.
Yeah, we held him out today as well, but we fully expect him to play on the weekend.
You talked about Oba and him just enjoying being around everyone. What are your thoughts on just the locker room as a whole and how they're all getting along?
I think it's good. The guys enjoy playing with each other, but what comes from it too is we've gotten good results. When you get good results, you build spirit. We've had a couple of games, and the DC game was good in the sense that we were down twice in that game and we came back. And I think when you come back, I think that shows spirit as well. It's a great stat to say, hey, when you're leading, you generally win the game. It's a stat about spirit when you start talking about when you get behind in the game, you find a way to get a result out of it. So I think those things have all helped our spirit.
Whether or not you'd be willing to tell us is another question, but do you feel like in your head you have a set starting lineup ready to go?
I've got a lineup. I've got an idea in my mind. A lot depends how we get through this week of training and, injuries and fitness and so forth. But, I have an idea at this stage, yeah.
With DeAndre having such a good rookie year, obviously he's young enough. There's a lot of room for growth still. What do you kind of want to see out of him in year 2 after coming on the scene like he did?
Same sort of things, somebody asked me this, I think, last week as well, and for DeAndre, it's just basically finalizing what he does, when he gets forward and when he makes his run, finding the final passes, finding the final crosses, defensively being not necessarily stronger, but being a little bit more aware when his guy peels away from him. It was something I know we were talking a lot in the DC game where Spindola likes to drift to the wing, and DeAndre sometimes overcompensates, comes inside, to help those guys, and then he's too far away. So we're talking about his spacing to that guy, and the recognition that he's a defender first. And it's also a little different when him and Remick are playing, because Remick also is a guy who gets forward and has a good engine. So now it's like picking and choosing and taking turns.
How well did he handle just kind of the maturity side of that with all the attention and everything that came with that last year?
DeAndre? Mm-hmm. DeAndre is pretty solid. I mean, he's got his feet on the ground. His grandparents, did a great job raising him, and he's a pretty level-headed kid. Some people can't. It's like in the old days, Alexi Lawless. A lot of people looked at Alexi Lawless's long hair and thought he was this major radical guy, and he really wasn't. And sometimes people look at DeAndre's hair and his style and the way he likes to dress and so forth, and they think he's this flamboyant guy. But when he comes to practice, he comes to practice. He works hard. He's got his feet on the ground.
You mentioned in an interview last week that you're looking to maybe go back to the coaching approach you had in college in terms of maybe your relationships with players. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but maybe you can talk about that approach.
No, I just I just wanted to make sure that I was close to the players, and that I talked more to the players. Sometimes when you're in the pro environment, you got more assistants and you talk about things, and okay, this guy will talk to that guy and this guy will talk to that guy, and I just took it upon my initiative that I wanted to speak a little more with the players and get a little better feel of where they're at, because I thought that was always my strength as a coach. And as you get older, sometimes you think like, maybe they don't want to talk to me. I'm 60 now and they're like 22. What do I want to talk to their granddad for? So kind of thing. But it's not like that, and I think it's been a good situation. I feel good about where we're at as a team. The assistants have been doing a great job because we all spend time talking to players.
What kind of spawns that introspective look on what I can do differently? Like, where do you think of that idea if after
you always want to do well and improve yourself, and certainly as a coach, when the season ended the way it ended last year, you sit there and say, what could I have done differently, or what could I have done better? But it's no different than when the season ends and you lose in the conference finals. You ask yourself, what can you change, what can you do a little bit better? You ask from the team side, you ask from individually, and I think you can never stagnate. The moment you stagnate is when you go backwards. And so you're always trying to move forward. You're always trying to improve.
How much of that was you looking at last season and just the amount of years you've been in the pros gradually getting to the point where you shifted away from that approach?
No, I don't. Again, it's. I want to make sure you get the right impression. It wasn't like, oh man, I've been doing none of this, I got to do this again. No, it's just, I think I need to tune this up a little bit. It's like sort of like listening to your radio and you're saying, maybe I got to put a little more bass in here, maybe I got to tune down the treble, maybe I got to up the treble, maybe I got to tune down the bass. So there's 7 or 8 things that are there. Maybe I want to change the mix a little bit, but you've always been doing part of it. It's never like you turned the bass to 0 or you turned the treble to 0. You didn't turn it off. It's just, maybe I need to spice this up a little bit more and do a little bit more of this. And I think that's what that's the way you look at it at the end of the season. You always have to coach from the base point of your personality, and you never make radical changes, but then you just enhance things. I don't know if that was good. Very good. Sound system, sound engineer. When it comes to sound engineer, I can work with you then, Matt.
Any specific reason for bringing training inside today?
We knew today was going to be more of a regen day and a lighter day, and we felt, with the rain and so forth, there was no need do that outside, that we could do that inside here and accomplish what we wanted to do. Our whole intent today was for it to be a lighter day after playing on Saturday. I mean, everybody played at least 60 minutes on Saturday, and then Sunday, it's a long travel because you got a connection and a layover, so you're really, from the time you leave your hotel till you get here, it's almost a 12-hour day. And so we want today to be easy just for their bodies to recover, and then they can go and do laundry this afternoon and come back tomorrow.
How close is Leo to being fit?
He's, he went 60 minutes on Saturday morning and had no issues. So I think he's definitely close. I mean, he's probably about, I would say, 85% of the way there, 85, 90.
I missed him, but didn't see Caskey and Bowen out there. Were they dealing with any injuries?
Bowen was dealing with an injury, so he was in the same boat as Pineda and those guys. And Caskey, there's hopefully something will come out soon here on that.
Oh, and Michael Lazira, I guess, is another one.
Yeah, we let him stay one more day at Charleston, so he could take care of some things, and then he'll be out here this afternoon.
If Leo is fully fit, is that his spot, or has there become competition in that spot?
I think there's competition in that spot, but I think Leo's our starting left back. I mean, you don't lose it because of injury, because Leo's proven himself to be a very competent left fullback for us and does a great job defending for us. But we also know there's enough competition that we need Leo at 100%. And, Remick's done well enough in preseason where he's put a stamp that says, if Leo's not 100% or close to it, I'm ready, prepared, and able to play.
Anything else?
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Give your full 90 with the Sounders FC mobile app, featuring live audio, matchday blog, and much more to keep you connected. Download your app at soundersfc.com/mobile.